Alright, hello there and welcome to another episode of Curt's Corner. I've been kind of biding my time today reading, and I thought I'd bring up something that bothers me. It may not bother everybody. It's kind of become a little fashion statement, and it bugs me. And what bugs me is sagging pants. I know some people are rolling their eyes, and that's okay. You may like sagging pants. I just happen to not like them. And maybe that means I'm just old. I don't know. But I have no idea why you think I should have to look at your ass on a regular basis. Nobody has definitive proof that this trend started in prison. Some say it started before, some say it started in prisons, to say that you were available for sex, or some say it means that you're gay. What's remarkable by reading, whether it's social media or Google or whatever, is that most people seem to think or to believe that a certain race is the only race that wears sagging pants. If you live where I live, there's not a race or a color that doesn't wear sagging pants. I also read where there's cities around the country that are now starting to make it illegal to wear your pants to the point where they're sagging and showing your underwear or showing your ass. And they're letting law enforcement dictate, what is too low to wear your pants. I happened to take a trip just this weekend, and I didn't bring a belt. So and it wasn't done purposely. I just failed to bring a belt. My fault. Long story short, this trip was more uncomfortable, and it was only 2 days, but the trip was more uncomfortable simply for the fact I had to keep pulling my pants up. Now, I could have easily gone and bought a belt, but I was, 20 miles from home, 25 miles away from home by boat, maybe. And I didn't want to pay the amount I would have had to pay in Seattle versus up here to buy a belt, so I didn't. But I've never been more uncomfortable in my entire life. What's even funny about that is I taped a lot of our trip. A lot of the trip was video recorded, and during the editing process, there was a lot of times I got caught pulling my pants up. And see, the power of editing means I can cut that out. But the issues that I have with the sagging pants are going into, let's say you go into an establishment, you're wearing baggy pants, they have a dress code that clearly states that you cannot, or baggy pants are not acceptable. Baggy pants, gang colors, blah, 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 bandanas, not acceptable in this business. Now, I don't want to I don't want to make a blanket statement like it seems to me that if you're wearing baggy clothes or baggy pants, you cannot read, because what ends up happening most of the time, when the person with baggy pants is asked to pull his pants up, he wants to know, and it doesn't matter whether he's white, black, Mexican, Russian, Puerto Rican, Vietnamese, it does not matter what they are. When you ask them to pull their pants up, the first question, the first statement out of their mouth is, "You're racist." Now, I didn't make the policy that said no baggy pants. The establishment, wherever you go, the establishment makes that rule, and they have the right to refuse anybody service if they can't follow those rules. I've seen it. It's happened to me. It's happened to many other people, I'm sure. That the moment that person is asked to pull their pants up, they call the person asking them to comply a racist. Now, there was a time, as I was reading today, where Zoot Suits, back in the 30s or 40s, were looked at and frowned upon the exact same way that saggy pants are frowned upon today. And, think about it. The Beatles, for crying out loud, were frowned upon because they had long hair. But, times change, and Zoot Suits became, a jazz performer's, basically his uniform. And that's how the look of Zoot Suits traveled around the country through jazz musicians. How the hell Saggy Pants, whether it started in prison, whether it started before prison, whether it, the rap groups, as they say, rap groups perpetuated this look, I don't understand why young kids today think this is cool. If I see a rapper and I'm 17 years old and he's driving a frickin' Pinto, a Ford Pinto, I'm not going to go out and get a Pinto just because he thinks it's cool. That's still an ugly friggin' car. I don't get it. I don't get why it's so hard to comply. I'm not saying that we should all be sheeple, and just do what's normal all the time. You want to express yourself, go ahead and express yourself. This is America. The only problem is when you go into a business or an establishment that says you can't come in that way, then you just can't come in that way. And I believe that they should not have to change to allow you to do so. And like I said, there's cities now where there's a $500 fine for showing your underwear and sagging jeans. That's really cool. A lot of myths are coming out too. I read one today where they're telling kids they're trying, the reason that they're perpetuating this prison thing, and some ex-cons say it is true. Some say they've never heard of it. Some say you're not allowed belts in prison. Some say you are allowed belts in prison. Some say they have elastic. Some say you're given pants that fit you. It's not important. It has got to be the dumbest look I've ever seen in my life. I mean dumb. I get, if you don't want to tie your sneakers, I get that. If you want to put bright orange freaking shoelaces in your sneakers, I get that. Bright red, bright green, whatever color you want. You know, if you don't want to wear socks with your sneakers, I get that. If you don't want to wear underwear at all, I get that. I do not get why you can't buy a belt. I don't. And my son will tell you. He's 24 years old. I will tell him, boy, pull up your pants. Period. I don't want to see your butt. I don't want to see your underwear. It looks stupid to me. Again, that may mean I'm getting old, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt I'm the only one that feels this way. I doubt I'm the only one that doesn't want to see your butt. In the meantime, you know, there's belts available everywhere. Everywhere. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go out and buy a second belt today so I never get put in the situation I was in this weekend. Because, my God, that's uncomfortable. You know, I didn't walk around downtown Seattle holding my crotch to keep my pants up. But it was still friggin' uncomfortable. And I don't get it. And I don't think I ever will get it. Unlike the Beatles, who came into fashion and accepted by young and old alike, my opinion is that saggy pants will not ever be accepted by young and old alike. Express yourself, you know, there's a bazillion ways that you can choose to express yourself. But what I would prefer in my presence is that you pull your pants up. Now, I know that's a short version of Curt's Corner. Content is very hard to come up with, you know. I had a whole bunch of ideas. You know, politics, drinking and drugging, you know, what it means to be a good friend, what it means to have good friends. How about Tiger Woods and Donald Trump and our former President Clinton? Actually, it would have been former President Clinton versus Tiger Woods, and differences of how people treated them both when they got into their little extramarital crap. But that's all for another time. Folks, thanks for coming out to another Curt's Corner, and I hope to see you again next week. Have a great day.